Democratic Republic of Congo is immunizing people in a bid to halt a new deadly outbreak of the Ebola virus. At least 25 people are believed to have died in the outbreak, which began earlier this month. Joining us now from Brussels is Hilde de Clerck from Doctors Without Borders. Thank you so much for joining us, Hilde. So obviously this is not the first time that the Ebola virus has happened in the DRC. Of course, the virus is named after a river in the Congo. But how serious is this particular outbreak?
Good afternoon. Well, for now we know indeed that around 45 people are hit, so they are suspected to suffer from the disease. Indeed, half of them, or a little bit more than half of them, have died, which is not so surprising as Ebola Zaire is pretty mortal and can kill up to 90% of all people that are affected. So that's the same, and this is nothing new. I think the 2 points that are maybe a little bit scary is that there are also few cases in the city of Mbandaka, which is quite a major city in Congo. Still, that doesn't mean that we should panic, because Ebola doesn't spread super easily. You really need direct contact with a patient who suffers from the disease to get infected yourself. So if the teams react quickly, if the responding teams are quickly, no, there's still good hope to cut it down early on. I think the other concern is that the river Congo is not very far, and so the other concern is that people could start moving around, so that patients would take a boat and would move further away.
Yes, in fact, I want you to talk about that. How worried are you about the virus spreading beyond the rural areas of the Congo? Now that you mention the city of Mbandaka and the potential of spreading, how worried are you that it could reach areas like Kinshasa and possibly neighboring countries?
Well, historically, we see that in Congo, Ebola outbreaks are actually rather small and maintained to an area. One of the reasons is probably that the infrastructure in terms of roads is not so good in Congo, and so people don't have tendency to move very freely, or very easily, rather. So the question is a bit how it will be this time. Still, the area that is most hit for now, it's a little city called Bikoro, is quite rural. So that's, let's say, the good thing. We don't expect people to move super easily. As said, there are a few cases in town, so in the city of Mbandaka, but the intervening teams are very, very aware of this. So what they're doing now is really to try to control it in the city. And I think it's important to understand that the disease doesn't transmit via air. So it's not because you take the same bus or you're sitting in the waiting room as a patient that suffers from Ebola that you get infected yourself. No, it's really close family members, people that are like in the social network of the patients that are the next patients. So the most important for now is to reach those people, to reach the patients, to know which communities, which families are hit, to inform them what they should do, not to get infected themselves, and so on. And I think we're still kind of early, so in that sense I think there is good hope that it can be maintained.
Hilde, just a quick and final question. How hopeful are you about the prospects of this vaccine that is being tested? Of course, it had been tested during the West Africa outbreak 2 years ago.
Yes, the vaccine can be helpful, definitely, but it's important to understand that the vaccine is still in a trial phase. So it's not going to be given as a mass vaccination, but it's going to be given in a targeted way, meaning that the contacts of patients and their contacts, so future contacts, are going to be vaccinated. People can refuse because indeed it's still in a trial phase. So it can be helpful, but we cannot forget to launch all the other pillars of an outbreak intervention, meaning contact tracing, good surveillance, isolation and treatment of patients, burials, safe burials. So, but yes, the vaccine is definitely promising.
All right, thank you so much for that. That is Hilde.